G'day, Hawks fans. Welcome to the Talking Hawks live stream, coming to you 24 hours, a bit later than usual. We were hoping the Matildas could have got across the line and into that final, and with 12 million people just about watching that, we knew that we might have been up against it, but we're coming at you on this Thursday night, fresh off our second win in a row, taking down the Bulldogs at UTAS for our third win there for the season, with 2 wins each at the MCG and Marvel Stadium, and we've got a very formidable foe in Melbourne coming up. But between you and I, Hawks fans, we kind of like playing the good team. So the optimism is high. Fingers crossed you're still on a high. We're connecting Hawthorn fans from all around the globe, not just to each other, but to the club itself. If you're new here, I'm Daz. The next voice you're going to hear is Chris. Great man. Feels like it's been a while since we've jumped on, but how are you?
Doesn't just feel like it. It has been a while. I'm great, mate, and coming fresh off a little trip to Tassie with the kids to go watch a footy. So, yeah, very, very exciting times and just a good finish to the holiday.
You were our man on the ground, which we appreciated in a big way, mate. The atmosphere at UTAS, as someone that's never been, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of others watching tonight that haven't been either, describe the ground for us, the atmosphere, and are the Hawks fans still as parochial as we think they are?
No, personally, I found it a little bit lackluster. Some big moments, and they're a little bit quieter. I don't know how it comes across on the audio on the TV, but yeah, there was lots of moments where I thought the crowd could have been a bit louder. But that's Tassie for you.
That's Tassie team coming in, mate. It's going to have a big effect on what happens, but we're grateful to be winning everywhere. So, Hawthorn fans, we want to be getting your comments in, and we're going to be looking at them, of course, throughout the evening, reacting to a whole lot. We've already got a few that have already started whipping in, and we are very, very happy for guys like Sam. We've got Fred in the house who is here. He's here early, Fred. We love him for it. He doesn't miss one, and we appreciate it. Rook as well has been a fantastic contributor across the way. Jared as well, who, let me tell you, this man has got some beautiful end of game reviews, mate. He sends them my way personally. Jared and I talk frequently. He's an absolute star, the great man. We've got Smithy's competition, Cody, who will forever be known as the fighter for the Carl Amon fan club. Hope you're doing well, Cody. Con as well, who we talk to quite a bit. And, mate, we're getting stuck into the questions straight away. Ned Reeves to do our kick-ins in the future. Just a little subtle nod to Tim English, for some reason, being the man to kick the ball out, even with Ed Richards just standing in the back pocket, who didn't really look like he wanted to take it, mate, which I thought was strange.
Yeah, it was interesting. And, wow, we can thank him for it now, can't we? But he's normally a pretty good field kick, Tim English, but that one got away from him.
It just proves Jason Dunstall right, mate. Ruckman, not a whole lot going on between the years. He said it for ages, the Chief. We love the Chief around here on Talking Hawks, as we all should. My goodness, Jason as well has jumped on. Good to see you, mate. Glad you're here. Max here as well. Born in Lonnie and York Park was where I watched games from the old wooden grandstand at the Eastern Goal End. How cool's that, just quietly. But I like this one that's come in, mate. We went from the hunters to being hunted. I like that.
Yes. No, it definitely stood out that way. And, yeah, it's a bit of a change, isn't it, from what we're used to seeing? And it's exciting.
And I'll tell you what it is, mate. We're at that point because the late end of the season, we're on a roll. We've gotten to a point now we don't want the season to end. I feel borderline cheated that there's only a fortnight left.
And I'm just looking at that list management going, oh, wow, what a headache. Where do they go? So many people that you thought might have been just on that chopping block have just stood up in the last sort of month, and I don't know what direction they're going to take. It's going to be a good watch.
Absolutely, it is. And Fabio bringing up the magic moments, mate. Carl Amon's known for plenty of things. That electric outside pace, he had 32 on the weekend, nearly 800 metres gained, and his kicking efficiency was over 90%, but I don't think since probably Sam Mitchell in 2010 on Shane Tuck as a tackle in the last moments of the game be so vital for us.
Yeah, the man's a freak, and yeah, he's just bringing in it from every direction, isn't he? Not just that kicking and racking up the Ks. Yeah, he's bringing the full package.
Worth every cent. Worth every cent. Has Carl Amon, I think of Jonathan Hay in 01 to David King as well, as a game-saving tackle as well. But Jason, with you, what a win. And Dimmer, mate, how noticeable is it on the ground, the kind of work that Dimmer was doing on Cody Waitman? Or is it kind of we haven't really seen a whole lot of Cody Waitman today? Or is it really obvious watching live what he was able to do to snuff Cody Waitman out of the game?
I think it was one of those things where once he gets his hands on the ball, he gets into the game, and because Dimmer just shut him down, he didn't get that opportunity to get the ball rolling. And yeah, what a phenomenal effort by Dimmer just to shut down an influential player like Cody.
And the stat came out, something like the last 80 minutes he's played one-on-one on Cody Waitman, he's touched the ball twice.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah, it's just extraordinary, isn't it? We know Waitman doesn't play like a traditional small forward, but at least small forwards can still get their hands on the pill, mate. I like this from Abs. Whoever finishes 16th should get a free pass into the finals. We'd love that, mate, because we struggle against some of these bottom teams. Of course, West Coast and North behind us. We've got to get to the great man, though. Our man, Jai himself.
Oh.
Game 50, mate, and he was a battering ram. He was damaging. He was just everything. What was it like watching him live turn it on like that?
Oh, it was amazing. The hairs were standing up on your arms. It was just, I haven't got words to explain it. He just put the team on his shoulder and just carried them over the line, didn't he? And in situations where you think, oh no, he's not going to get there, and he just found a way and just won the contests, and made the Brownlow favourite Bont look a bit average, didn't he?
Yeah, well, 17 more disposals will do that. How did you see Cozzy, mate? I like the fact that he stood up. He clunked everything in that second half. It was a very nice effort from Cozzy. Deserved to finish his work, probably a bit better than he did, but can't ask for much more than, I think, 8 marks on the weekend, and I think 6 out of 9 contests in the second half, which was nice.
Yeah, he was outstanding and really influential in the win. Yeah, like you said, we had him on the pod during the week. Timmy at his best, and it was really, really good chat to listen to, guys. So go to the podcast and check that one out if you haven't already. I guess that's what comes with confidence. And when you start grabbing marks and dominating, he's just believing in himself and getting the job done. I just really loved his backup ruck performance. When he went into the ruck, he really showed his presence and had an impact. Yeah, it was awesome.
He did so too on Dan McStay and Billy Frampton against the Pies as well, noting a couple of flicks behind his head for some hit-outs to advantage I didn't know he had in him.
Yep, no, he's bringing a bit more, and like you said, he's having that impact now, and it's keeping him in the team. We really value his input at the moment, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of things that people need to check out once they're done here,
mate,
we've got Chris going. It's hard to. No, that's
quick shout out to Michael, who I did mention to you guys on the chat that he said hello. So Thanks, mate. I appreciate the chat, and hopefully see you down there again.
Absolutely, mate. And we've got, speaking of things people need to check out, Smithy this morning, a write-up on Jai's first 50 games, mate, and it's extraordinary comparing him to current players that have gone on to do massive things individually, and a couple of players from yesteryear, and Smithy even comparing his first 50 games to his current coach. And the numbers standing up quite nicely. Yes, there is a generational gap, mate, but we can only go off the numbers we're given. But can we say what his ceiling is, Jai? Still too early to tell, or is it probably beyond what we might be thinking?
Oh, with this game on the weekend, just showed that ceiling, we don't know where it is, really, do we? And he just keeps elevating his game to a new level. So, yeah, I think the biggest part about it is the chemistry he's got with the midfield group. So, it's looking like if we can get, say, 200 plus games out of him, you're going to see a phenomenal footballer in our time.
Oh, mate, aren't we what? With a mixture of other guys now. There's a lot of frustration with mainstream media, mate, and we know that there's one journo in particular talking about tanking, and no, we won't be flashing up the derogatory stuff that some fans might come up with, but is there a part of you, because there's a big part of me, maybe because I consume possibly too much mainstream footy media, that kind of gets frustrated now at the media telling us how good we are when nearly most of us saw this coming when trading out Mitchell and O'Meara, when we sat here and other Hawthorn people sat here. We're not reinventing the wheel that went, Warple's won a best and fairest. We knew how good Newcombe was. We saw the potential in Will Day. Yes, the teams that we've beaten might have been a surprise, but it seemed Hawthorn fans knew what was coming and they simply didn't. And the fact that some media people are now jumping on board is actually starting to irk me. Is that irrational, or what do you think?
No, I've got the same feeling, mate. And like you said, we've seen it coming, and we could see the potential there, and it was just slowly getting there. And yeah, like you said, they've just jumped on board, and getting the clicks for their articles, really, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's the end of the day, mate. That's all that they're after. I'm with you. Best news of the week. I'm with you, Fabio. Jimmy Warple putting pen to paper, mate. Takes him to free agency, which we noted would be the right thing to do, and then one step at a time. But if he plays good enough footy for us, mate, and in 2 years' time we're on our trajectory, I don't see any reason why Warps wouldn't be a key part of that. Hopefully, that next premiership midfield.
Yeah, no, he's again got back to that best and fairest form, and doesn't look like he's slowing down either. Where's his ceiling? Like, I didn't expect that from him this year. So yeah, I'm very stoked he's signed on, and looks like he's part of that future group that can go a long way in finals.
Yep, absolutely. And one of the bigger problems that we're going to face this week coming from Sam Lewis out is a surprise. Well, he was on crutches yesterday, Timmy reporting at training. So no surprise that he's hurt there, mate. Probably expect Maxi Ramsden to come in, but we'll go into more detail about that. Nice of Nuke to pass to Warps for a goal. But can we talk about Jai's goal for a second, mate? Which would have probably been the highlight of his day if Cody Waitman didn't act like a mosquito. He just the blind turn out of trouble. Yep. 3 steps, 55. I know there was a bit of a wind, mate, but he put that into the crowd.
Yeah, he did. It was very noticeable kicking towards the opposite end, but at that end of the ground, yeah, you could set sail from 50, no worries, and never looked like missing. It was just a great moment. On top of that performance, it was just icing on the cake, wasn't it?
It was, and I don't mean to make comparisons to a dynasty because it's the worst thing that we can do, but the Brisbane side of 1, 2, 3, and then the Hawthorn side of 13, 14, 15 had a lot of guys that could hit it from 50 to 55. And that just completely opens up your entire offense. I think a guy, obviously your Vosses, your Blacks, obviously your superstars, but even guys like Tim Notting, Ash McGrath could launch a long footy. And these guys, mate, if we can get Jai, Jimmy Warple, Will Day to be launching these, we know Will Day can kick a long footy as well, mate. It's the less work we've got to give our forwards. That would be handy.
Oh, Amon's not far off 50.
Amon as well, launched one from 50 as well. You're right, yep.
Sneaks down, loves a goal. So, yeah, it makes a huge difference when you can threaten from that 60-metre range. Like Sicily gets down for that long bomb too. It changes the dynamics of that ball movement going forward.
Absolutely, it does. A lot of love for Cozzy, which we like seeing. Nuke's long bomb, yep. Dami, I'm with you. Stole your thunder there. Probably should have looked at your comment first, but my goodness, there is a lot of comments here, mate. I don't know what's happened in the last 6 or 8 weeks, but we are loving being inundated with all of these comments. Have been a raging Cozzy critic. And I love this, mate. I love this about our live streams, that we can sit here and react in the moment. We know that some calls, especially when we jump on, say, podcasts and such, and make some of these big predictions. But from week to week, the more information we've got, we're not afraid to change our minds, mate. And that's how we create good, honest footy conversation.
No, that's it. We've got to own it. Sometimes we get it wrong. And, Cozzy's definitely proven us wrong a couple of times now, hasn't he? He just keeps coming, and hopefully he can become that more consistent forward and forge a career out of it.
And on the only negative out of the day, mate, unfortunately, was the Chad. Now, talking about getting the rookie spot 9 to 12 months out, it would be a horrific way for Chad to potentially end his career. Where do you stand? I know the ruthless part says that if he's not going to be right in 2 years, do you keep him on for 1 and hope that it's 9 months and he plays 9 games in the last year of his career? If Chad doesn't go on, do we go to the retirement route instead? I feel there's something inside me that says that if we find out we've delisted him, I just feel like that's going to be a tragic way to end a guy's career, especially, you could argue, in the best form he's been for probably since his last year in Port Adelaide.
If it's delisting, I don't think that they would go down that route. I think it would be Chad calling his time and exiting that way, rather than the club looking like the bad guys. But I think for what he's given us, the club will support him, get behind him, and give him every opportunity to stay on that list and recover. And potentially, ride the wave that we're on at the moment.
Absolutely, mate. And of all the guys I missed or I said could launch one from 50, and not forgetting the Hawthorn players, mate. Your Isaac Smith, Roughhead, Buddy, Gunston. Geez, Matty Suckling could kick a footy. Holy moly, thanks for that, Abs. My goodness. There's a memory. Suckers, what a man he was. Well, he still is, obviously.
Talking about
Here's
Suckers,
a good question.
You got Hardwick with that Suckers. He's really tweaked that kicking style lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely has. He went through about a fortnight, mate, where none of them were working, and then he's just refined it a bit, and it's come good. Jason, though, how high is Weddle's ceiling? He can be anything in the next year or so.
That's the exciting part about the journey we're on at the moment. We've got so many kids that just look like they can be anything at this point in time. So let's just hope they all can reach that ceiling that they're going for, because we don't even know how high it is. Yeah, exciting times.
Absolutely, mate. He's a start. Is anyone regretting that trade now? I don't think so. I don't think we are, considering that we've got to get draft points for Will McCabe anyway. That second round pick that would have been now 21, that would have gone to Will anyway. And we get Wedler. I'm all for it. Beautiful. Glenn here, mate, with a nice question. I know the off-season stuff is might be a bit premature to go with, but I'm going to just summarise this, Glenn, if you don't mind. Someone comes to us with a first-round pick offer for Punky, who's going to win the goal kicking again for the 5th time in his career, considering the players he's played with. Do you consider it? Let's say the first-round pick doesn't get absorbed with McCabe. So we get our pick 3, another selection, and then Will McCabe, but we've got to give up Punky. What do you reckon?
Look, again, it's going to be in the player's ballpark. It's up to him if the offer comes, and I guess he's looking at a flag in the next year or two to go to that club like Isaac Smith did. You definitely got to look at it. So, yeah, I guess that's a yes.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So we've got one, Jason reckons Punky loves being a Hawk. We've got another one thinking Chad will retire. I have a feeling that Chad's going to retire as well. Which would be sad, which would really be sad. And then, Cody just making the list longer. Sicily, Scrim, Amon, Day, Nuke, Impey, absolutely. I'd love to see Jarman Impey launch another one from 45. Jacob Cox, Birch, of course. Brent Guerra in the 2013 prelim. You're all just proving my point for me, but this isn't about you, Daz, so shut up and read some other comments, righto? I will. And then Stewie Drew. Yep, there we go.
Good times.
How about this, mate? Backline without Frosty just works.
Yes, it does.
Based on the evidence.
And it sort of leaves you scratching your head as what to do. And I guess in the back of my mind, we've talked about a few other players as trade bait. It's sort of like, well, will a few clubs come asking questions? Or
think Clarko could recruit him again if Ben Mackay goes?
Yeah, he's, I guess, part of our leadership group. So, but I really don't know. That's one of those list management things where I don't know where we're sitting at the moment. Is he contracted? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
So if that's a trade, again, that could be draft picks or a player swap. Who knows?
Well, Ross, you think DJB deserves another game this week? Well, he's going to get one because he's not named amongst the outs at all. That being Mitch Lewis, Bailey McDonald likely to be the sub again, or he'll definitely be on the subs list. I thought he did his job well enough, mate. Credit to him. The commentators thought that Josh Weddle had 42 disposals, considering they didn't know who Bailey McDonald was. But apart from that first contest, mate, where he made about 4.5 mistakes, everything after that was pretty good.
Yeah, no, Bailey settled into the game really well after that initial few minutes on the ground. But and I guess that's a little bit of a surprise factor too, with Chad going out early. When you're the sub, you're probably not expecting to come into the game so early mentally. So, but yeah, no, would he end up with about 14 touches or something?
I think so.
But every time he got the ball, he looked comfortable, made good decisions. So, and that's what we're seeing him do at Box Hill. So yeah, he's just another one that's just sitting in the background there, waiting to just get that little bit better, isn't he?
And the only draft pick we've got left that hasn't played is Henry Huswaite, who is named on the extended squad. So fingers crossed we can see my man Double H. A lot of love for Punky, too vital for the development of our young small forwards. We draw the line on Punky. I probably agree. Please no, Punky. Not never, that's probably the wrong thing, but like going through that 13, 14, 15 side, mate, we knew how good Punky was. We all love Punky, but the love that honestly think his legacy's grown since that three-peat, which is extraordinary to say considering how good he was.
Yeah, and to stick back with the team, knowing that he was sort of going through a rebuilding phase, and yeah, just to be a one club player, it does mean a lot. So yeah, I'd love to see him finish his career in the brown and gold.
Absolutely. We will sort of go between sort of trade stuff and just keep them flooding through, guys. I'm doing my best to catch up.
Sorry, mate. We have to throw Clinton Young in.
Oh, Clinton Young in the list. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I only had a limited amount of time, so I really appreciate the rest of the fans filling me in here. Glenn, mate, do we look at Ben Mackay? Unlikely that at this stage that North are going to get Ben 1 compensation for him. So Hawthorn fans, they're unlikely to get pick 3. But I say unlikely. Who knows what the AFL are going to do? But looking at around that 650, 700k a year, mate, probably to get him out of North, you're going to have to offer 4 or 5 years. Too much for mine for a guy who's played less than 100 games in 7 years.
Yeah, it'd be a handy inclusion, but like you said, it's the price you pay, and I guess that's sort of, I don't know, is it just that little bit too early to start recruiting those players? But I think on the back of that, thinking we were going through that rebuild and we're no longer being that destination club, I think we've turned that pretty quickly, and I think Sam will definitely sell a package to players that we are chasing.
Yep, definitely so. Jake Riccardi, number 1 on that list. Yep. Jaden, you're 100% right. That's why we think Bailey McDonald's going to be the sub. Of course, the subs are chosen from the emergencies list and not in the 22, so you're spot on there. Geez, not a whole lot of love for Frosty, which is interesting. Ross here, should we go for a 3 talls forward line this week? It looks like we will, mate, if Maxi Ramsden is going to come into the side. We could play Ned Long as a pseudo tall forward at 190, someone will correct me here, but 194 centimetre player, I think he is. But Brandon Ryan, not named in the squad's interesting for mine. Or I didn't see his name.
No, he's not on the list. He's in the extended squad, so it may be a decision.
Oh, he's in the extended squad. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
So, Hawthorn fans, don't come at me. Brandon Ryan will come in for Mitch Lewis. Okay, cool. It's come out of my mouth. We don't need to comment. Excellent. But,
so you are taking a back step on Ramsden playing then?
Yes, yes,
Ryan's
I am.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. My English teacher from high school would be really upset with me for not reading it all. So shout out to you, Mr. Donaldson. He was a star. Re-energised our forward line. Let's hope he continues improving. Mate, I agree. He's a beanpole, but he's got beautiful hands and he's a nice kick.
Yep. No, he's an exciting prospect, and his hands below his knees, phenomenal. So, yeah, he's how high is his ceiling? He looks phenomenal. I think for a 2-game player. Yeah, he's got a lot of upside.
Yeah, he definitely does. The first part of this, Brooke, I don't agree with. I don't know if Chad's got any coaching aspirations, but we might be saying goodbye to Chris Newman, mate, as he is reportedly one of the 3 favourites to take the Richmond coaching job with Sean Grigg and Daniel Jean Syracusa in line. He's been a good one, Chris Newman. No one's, I don't think, ever said a bad word about him, and that's from a bloke growing up in Narry, and no one knows what that's like more than me.
Yep, well, he's definitely done his time in the system, and he's moved through, I guess, the midfield, the back line, the forward line. So he's got all the experience required to take that next step. And be sad to see him go, because I think the playing group really respect him. And yeah, good luck to him if he chooses to go for that coaching job, I guess.
And the second part of this question, mate, do you hope Sammy will be giving a call to the big rough dog and just going, we've got some tall forwards to work with, rough. Come on down, son.
Oh, I think it's time, isn't it? I guess it's him. Well, where do we sit on the Stewie Jew train as well, mate?
Oh, no. I'll fly up to Gold Coast. I'll bring Stewie back with me. I'll drive him down. I'll annoy the crap out of him with 08 questions. Beautiful, mate. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Can we have a full coaching squad of the Premiership, the 3 people? You reckon we could fill that coaching staff with all those players?
And poor Kate Simpson's just running the back line, just going, well, I played the most games out of all of us. Poor Cade. It's he's probably got the worst record in footy, mate. I don't know what it would be like to lose more games than anyone else in the history. I mean, a fantastic player and a fantastic career, but whew, my goodness. All right, I promised myself, and I can see Matt getting mad at me here.
All right.
West Coast would not do this deal. And that's the problem with mock trades, mate. West Coast need to be happy with this deal. Under no circumstances would they look at what Harley Reid can do and go, it's worth a guy who's played VFL footy this year, a guy who's been a small forward who's also been dropped in the last 2 years at separate points, and unlikely to get their Western Australian born in Daniel Curtin because North are into him. So that's my little anger that seems to come out weekly. I don't think I've asked you this topic, but I'd do it in a heartbeat, but I don't think West Coast would.
Yeah, the whole, I don't know, I guess Harley Reid's been the talk all season, but will he deliver on an AFL career like we've seen so many fail in the past? Yeah, I'm not throwing all my eggs in one basket and giving up too much either. So, I'll try not to look into those trade rumor talks unless it's a genuine sort of deal.
We're one of those clubs that's been beautifully lucky, mate, because our last and our only number one pick was pretty damn good in Hodgie.
Yes.
So that's probably, I think Carlton fans might look at a deal like that with some skepticism, considering all of those number one picks they had back in the day. If Newman leaves, I think Little John, now he's coached Box Hill and developed the players, would be a good assistant for Sammy. I tell you what, mate, Box Hill is proving to be quite a fruitful coaching ground for guys.
Yep,
Clint Proctor did a fantastic job, and now I think he's got a space in hockey, I think. Could be wrong on that. I did see something on LinkedIn the other day, but Zane Littlejohn's doing a very nice job, mate. Do you reckon we could just leave Box Hill as it is at the moment, or do you think it's just a breeding ground for potential more coaches?
It's a tough call because obviously he was up at Brisbane under Fags, and we've stolen him to play that, I guess, middle role between Box Hill and AFL. Well, he is on part of our AFL coaching panel, I guess. But, he's got his work cut out basically looking after two teams effectively, isn't he? He's got a lot of players under his control. But, he's definitely one to look at. He's very intelligent when it comes to footy. So, I could see it happening.
And a big Married at First Sight fan, which I still haven't forgotten from that interview. Him and Oscar McInerney watching Married at First Sight together. Unbelievable. Shano, spot on. Yeah, Ned Reeves, team high tackles. Nice to see from your ruck. And not only that, mate, Tim English's two worst games this year, both against Ned Reeves. If you want to test yourself against the best, tick, tick.
Yeah, no, he's definitely lifted his work rate around the ground and nullifying the opponents. So, massive tick for Ned Reeves because, like we said, letting Meek drop down to the VFL squad after playing his best game was an interesting call, but it was the right one in the end. And, he's definitely cementing his spot as the number one ruck, isn't he?
He absolutely is. Abs warning Daniel Curtin. With how well he's playing in the midfield, if that's not that he gets a say in the role that he wants to play, but as a pure centre-half back, I would love Daniel Curtin. If I had to throw a little big call out there, mate, I suspect we might do a Josh Weddle trade up and target Ollie Murphy, the centre-half back from the Greater Western Rebels, I think, is where he's from, but an absolute star, that kid. I love this question, though, from Cody. Could Adam Simpson come over and be an assistant for Sam to potentially replace Newman? Might bring a West Coast player with him, Liam Ryan, who we're apparently already into, but feel for Simo, but geez, mate, you're a tough cookie to survive what he's gone through win-loss over the last 2 years.
To be honest, they'd be throwing a new coach, under the bus, effectively, I think. So I think he's the best man to coach one more season before they and get them back on their feet before they look at replacing him, personally.
I was totally with you until I saw that Shuey, Hearn, and Nick Nat were gone, and I reckon the board are thinking, righto, this is purely going to be terrible. If we're going to be terrible, we could do it with someone else. But
I guess you could do that like Sammy's done, just put a new coach in and let him go.
Let him go, absolutely, mate. We're being inundated at the moment, which we love.
Oh, I like this one.
Oh, sorry. No, well, we've clicked. You've clicked. Go for it, mate. What have we got?
Petrocelli. That sounds exciting. I would love to have him. No? Wow.
Runs fast, and that's it.
I think he's I'll rate him. There you go. We disagree.
There we go. Oh, mate, not for the first time, but geez, it's exciting when we do. Can you imagine a show where all we did was agree with each other? That'd be terrible. I feel like we lost a lot of trade value for Brocky over the past few weeks. Disinterested is a huge word and something that I and my athletic ability do not feel like I have a right to comment on. But
Don't
hey,
believe
if he
he's
wants to
the
stay...
only person who said he's disinterested as well. I think somebody else said it earlier in the chat. And it's an interesting word to use, I guess, isn't it?
Well, Zane Littlejohn noted that Emerson Jecker didn't look that interested in the VFL wrap-up, which I thought was interesting. But hey, if Brocky wants to stay at the Hawks, mate, it's the trade value doesn't matter. It's the old adage of, are you scared if your house is losing value? Well, only if you want to sell it. If you don't want to sell it, doesn't mean a whole lot. So we'll see how we go with Brocky.
Well, I think he's got a good relationship with Ryan. So, I mean, they're talking about trading him to West Coast for Ryan, but why not just have them both in our forward line?
I mean, yeah, this would be hell. Cody on board with the pick one anger. It's good to see that there's at least two of us, Cody, that are shouting into a white wall. It's not just me on your own, which is not me on my own, I should say. Let's lean towards the Melbourne game, mate, and Ross is going to kick us off beautifully. They've got a three-headed midfield monster, Oliver, Petrarca, and, of course, Viney. Finn.
Tipping he might play the same role as he did this week and start off a back flank on a certain player, and then as soon as it's out of that centre bounce scenario, maybe go to a Viney, someone like that.
Viney, interesting. I reckon Clayton Oliver warmed up last week with like 23 touches, 12 tackles, and all that. He's ready to go. Oh, mate, Finn's just going to put the clamps and Clary's a star, not taking that away from him at all. Melbourne proved they could win games without him at times. Petrarca won them that game at Marvel against, I want to say, the Saints. I could be wrong about that with his 4 goals, or the Bulldogs maybe. But yeah, I think just clamping down Clary, I think that's going to be Finn's role.
I think Petrarca's a little bit more dangerous if Finn was to follow him forward.
Yeah, I think if we didn't tag Bont, we're not going to tag Petrarca for that centre forward reason.
Yep.
That's just my thinking anyway.
Yep. I'm with you there.
Malthouse gave Ned Reeves a massive rap on ABC Radio. Love that. People are still listening to ABC. Awesome. I genuinely forgot they did footy. That's not a shot. Genuinely forgot they did that, but good to see mix up and about, which we love. Did say Essendon were going to win the flag last year, so we'll take it with a grain of salt. But
you heard this rumour, mate?
He's apparently wanting to come home to Victoria.
Cousins? Is that right?
So. Yeah, but the last thing we need is a worse version of Sicily. And I like Luke Ryan as a player, but they're the same player.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, can he change his role and hold down a back and free up Sicily?
No, Brennan Cox from Freo would be the guy I would go after for that, I think.
He
is a good key defender, Luke Ryan, but I'm not sure if we can just go halve your disposal count and just stop another guy. I don't think that's his strength.
Yep.
Don't think so. DJB building confidence. I like that.
Yep. No, I to bounce on that, we didn't really cover it before when we mentioned him. Yeah, his leading patterns seem to have improved. He's just timing things a little bit better. Yes, he did make a few little errors on the weekend, but I was really impressed when he took the mark. I was there down there in the Western Stand end where I was, but then he quickly chose to pass inboard, which was, I thought, a really smart decision, because kicking from that 45 to 50 metre range and on that angle with that wind, and it proved to be a good move because it turned into a goal. It was really good.
Yep, spot on. But what I did like, mate, is the footy instincts kicked in at that moment. It didn't look like he had a lot of time to think about it, and that's when a good decision came, which I'm more than happy for, mate. If that natural footy ability, he spoke about it after the Box Hill game where he kicked 4, where he said, I just felt like it was a footy, my hands, my foot, and I felt a lot of confidence from that. That can only be a good thing.
Talking about those footy instincts, there was one moment where Blanky ran off Norton, split-second decision, and made the contest, which you may not have seen on TV because you would have just seen the ball and Blanky come in for the spoil, but he had to leave. Norton won out basically in that forward line. So, yeah, that was huge.
And considering that very early in that game, he and Jack Scrimmer went to Norton and left Ugle-Hagan on his own, I think, for their second goal of the game, where he dummied around Scrim as well. So good to know that they can just go from contest to contest, mate, and just continually make the right decisions and live and die by the sword, which is good.
Geez, Norton took some huge marks, but just didn't really punish us on the day.
No, absolutely, he didn't. Okay, a lot of Brocky stuff here, but we're going to turn towards Melbourne now, guys. Love Ryan at the Hawks Army. I think you're going to mean Liam there, not Luke. Oliver, Grundy. I don't think Finn would go to Grundy, but interesting.
Grundy. I'm just thinking with Ned Reeves in form. How do you think he's going to go against Grundy?
I'm more worried about Gawn, to be honest. Grundy just is. He's not a forward. He's not. I mean, props to Melbourne for giving it a go, but Porter going to offer you a pick in the 30s and to take most of his money on. Didn't work 1 year. Go. If he's in the ruck against Reaver, good luck, or Cozzy is the second ruckman. Grundy's probably going to kill him, and that's only because of the quality of ruckman that he is. But, I mean, he's not going to win the game for the D's. So, but Ned versus Max, box office, mate. That's worth the price of admission alone. Yep. We love Max, good Sorrento boy. He's got some, I think he owns part of Sorrento Hotel. Good man on the Bayside, Max, but not this week. Not this week. He's the enemy.
No, not this week. Yeah.
If Finn went to Libba, he logically goes to Viney. I don't know why, Mac. I know his contested ball numbers did go up without Oliver in the side, but you'd think when Oliver comes back and he's playing that inside mid role, it's kind of the same thing. I don't know if Jack Viney, even if he has 35, is going to be the reason we lose the game, mate, or am I underestimating the son of Todd?
He was a game winner last week for Melbourne in my eyes. I'm not sure if you caught much of the game. I thought he played phenomenal. And, like I said, he's just one of the options that he could go to. But
thought the goal umpire was pretty good for Carlton on the day, which was nice. And someone that tipped the Blues, a tip of the cap to that goal umpire.
Thanks, Jambo, because I love that, the Finn Reaper. There's been a few...
Finn Reaper's good. I was going to click on it next. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The Grin Reaper memes going around. He's doing it week in, week out at the moment, isn't he?
Absolutely. Jarv going with one of my favourites, mate. Sicily forward. Bloke's an all-Australian back pocket. I feel like fans are doing this to me on purpose. I think we want to see Daz snap eventually before the end of 2023.
Oh, I'm just glad the fans are doing it and it's just not me doing it to
you. Now, we got to bring this up with Bucks, mate. Claiming Jai. Now, number one, you can't claim a man that A, we sponsor, and B, we picked from the start. Secondly, 12 months ago, called him nothing more than a B-grade player. Now, if you want to go down that road, that's fine, but this would be like effectively round one next year, I'm buying Jack Petrocelli stock when he's in a Hawthorn jumper. I don't feel like I could get away with that in the live streams, nor should I, because you've got to stand by your opinions. So we're not letting Bucks get away with that.
No, not at all.
Bugger off, Bucks.
Yep.
Better than that. Roger here, been fantastic tonight, Roger. Huswaite is the recruit I'm most excited to see. Absolute steal of the draft. Mate, we're in the same boat there. How this kid got to pick 37, I've got no clue. But, mate, I don't want to say he's like Scott Pendlebury, but I will say he reminds me of number 10 from Collingwood.
Mm-hmm. Yep, can't disagree with that.
That's all I'm going to say.
I played with his dad, so I've had a few good chats with him at the VFL this season, and I'm just itching at the bit to see him play some senior footy.
I like this one from Glenn as well. If Finn does go to Viney, does that mean Viney's getting subbed out before half time?
Gold, that's gold.
Oh, no wonder he's the Finn Reaper, mate. He's taking them out, which is unfortunate. We're not lamenting the fact or enjoying the fact that Libba was concussed, but it's been an extraordinary couple of weeks from Finn. He went through, I saw this on Twitter as well, so don't quote me. Finn went through a 60-minute period one-on-one with his opponents that across multiple opponents, and that would be Bont, Libba, Bailey Dale, Caleb Daniel at one point as well. And in that 70-minute period, they had 3 disposals, and none of them were effective.
Yep. No, he's... I don't know. There's just no one in the game doing that at the moment, is there? And he's winning his games as well by doing that role.
If you're going to do something, be the best at it. So if you're going to be a tagger to anyone out there at other clubs, do it as good as Finn does. And there's not many that would be able to do that, mate. Not with his aerobic capacity, my goodness.
I think I read some stats about games we've played with Lewis and Sicily in the team versus one of them missing. And, we have really struggled. So, but in saying that, It's a different stage of the year at the moment. Other players have been stepping up. So, yeah, big challenge this week. It is Melbourne, but we're on a roll. So let's hope we can just have another nice win. Enjoy it.
Absolutely, we're gonna get to some predictions soon. I'm gonna quickly knock over a couple of these, mate. Is Grundy an option for us? I know Smithy loved it. I'm gonna say no, based on the way that Ned Reeves is finishing this season. Jacob Cox, I heard that we're after Sam Flanders. Would you take him at the Hawks again? Right price. I'm not giving up a first round pick for Sam Flanders. He's been in a rich vein of form. It'd probably depend on if the new coach wants him, because it's going to be Damien Hardwick. We know. I just don't know what role he's going to play, mate. We've already got 5-6 guys in the team that are capable of having 25 plus. I don't know where he'd fit in our best 22. Another midfielder.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Dimmer, sorry, I should say. Blake Hardwick, mate, v. Cozzy Pickett. That's going to be interesting.
Yes, I don't even know how he manages to lock down players that are so much faster than him, but he seems to find a way to do it. So let's hope he can nullify another opponent this week.
He's the epitome of he works smarter, not harder, Dimmer. He is wickedly intelligent on the footy field. It's great to watch him live. Yes. If Collingwood can get press red for Ed, surely we can press something for Dimmer and just watch him annoy the absolute fright out of his opponents, which is great. Pendlebury 2.0, a couple of fans getting around, which I appreciate. But Sam, when you're pulling off puns that are worse than mine, I've got to call you out on it, son. There is only room for really, really horrific jokes around here, and that's my job. So don't take that away from me. But I like what you've done tonight, Sam. You're a star. Would love to see Sarong in. Couple of fans saying what an interesting year he's had for obvious reasons. Viney in career best form. A lot of love for Jack Viney being the man that Finn's going to, which we love. A lot of love for Henry Hustwaite as well. This was interesting, mate. We know we've talked about Cody Waitman. Did the Bailey Smith tackle attempt to you stand out, breaking away from a stoppage? I think it was in the second quarter, if that's what Glenn's referring to.
No, it didn't stand out because I just don't recall it.
Just tried to grab a fistful of his jumper, and Jai kind of just gave him a glance of, really? I loved it. Yep. If we can find it, we'll post it on the Talking Hawk socials. It was great.
I think I have seen the replay of it, yes.
It was great. Shano, Suns giving up their first rounder again this year. That also comes with Braden Fiorini, it's being suggested, considering he's on about 550k. So would you want to pay 550 grand for a bloke to play VFL, considering we've already got guys like Hustwaite, Cooper Stevens, and the like running around in Box Hill for pick 8? I mean, I'd take the pick 8. I really would.
So it's another money dump.
Connor O'Sullivan would be a nice pickup, but Nick here, Seamus on Pickett. I don't even think Seamus is named, is he, mate?
Ooh,
or am I just not reading twice? Nope, not here. No.
Yeah, I reckon he might be carrying an injury, is my sneaking suspicion. But, yeah, would have been a good matchup being fit. I think he's got the speed to go with him. It would have been really good.
Yeah, from reports we're hearing, Jason, Jake Riccardi's going to be the man we're targeting, but I'm fully on board with the Ben King stuff, for sure.
Where do we sit on the Scrimshaw debacle at the moment? I know he's been dropped a couple of times this season. It seems like for his I don't know, maybe his training off-field stuff. I'm not sure, but his last few weeks have been phenomenal.
Yeah, defensively he's been great. He's our best 22. If someone came to me and said we win the flag in, say, 2026, right, for example, who do you think's in that side? I've definitely got Scrim in that side at his best. And he had times during probably up until the bye where I thought he was good with the ball in hand and probably not good without the ball in hand. And I think that's been one of the big improvers since he's come back into the side. So whatever Sam said, or if it was maybe even a threat. Yeah, but, whether it's threatening to go to another club or something like that, Scrim's definitely responded, mate. And the extra weight of the team that you grew up barracking for, and I think having that rocket might mean just that little bit more, maybe sunk in a little bit extra as well.
It looks like he's responded, so let's hope he's, well and truly part of our future.
Absolutely, he has, mate. Some more trade stuff, guys. We might leave that for another live stream. We're going to get straight into our predictions, guys, so... The Dees, it's going to be a tough game, as we know. They don't really have a functioning tall forward line, but depending on what the weather is going to be like on Sunday, 3:20 Melbourne time, of course, Australian Eastern Standard Time, I should say, mate. Your initial thoughts as we wait for the fans' predictions to come in? What are you thinking off the top of that dome?
I think with Lewis out, it's going to be a tough one. But I still, we're being competitive because of our midfield group winning the ball first and limiting our opponents. And I guess having that first ball use, they can't score when we've got the ball. Simple as that. I do think we're a chance. So I've got to be positive this week. I'm going to say that we'll get up by 13 points and Will Day, BOG for me.
Ooh, I like it.
I'm going to go, maybe Brandon Ryan plays, does he?
Yeah, I think so. I'm relatively confident.
I'm going to go Brandon Ryan for 3 goals, and I reckon Cozzy will chip in with 2.
Lovely, I like that. No Mitch Lewis makes it tough. I'm with you there. Jam, my goodness. Dees by 26 says Jacob. Big win coming up. I like that. But Mitch Lewis in the side, mate. You know that I've got a potential problem with the scoring. Hawks a chance, but Dees by 5. C-Mac BOG. Love that, Shane.
Awesome.
He's building, mate. He's
I'm
due
going to
for another
refresh your
28
memory.
and 3.
Going to refresh your memory that Mitch Lewis only kicked 1 goal last week, and it was a bit of a gimme from a certain player kicking out.
Structure, though.
Yes, true.
2
It is very
meters tall,
important.
mate, and built like a brick. You know what?
But does that make us a little bit more unpredictable as to where we're going? It can work in our favour.
It absolutely can. I think at our best, of course, we can win, but it's just I'm kind of in the boat of I'm struggling to give us authority in my tip without big Mitch Lewis there. And shout out to, if I can throw someone a little bit under the bus here, mate. Nick Rinn, who's on with Xavier Ellis and the Hardball Gets podcast, reckons Mitch Lewis isn't a number 1 key forward.
Oh,
He's kicked 62 goals in his last 24 games or something. Come on, Nick. You're better than that. We're holding receipts here at Talking Hawks, let me tell you.
I reckon he's a sneaky chance for the Coleman next year, mate.
Oh, no, he's better than sneaky. My goodness. Bruce the Lazy 5, Craig, we like to see that. A little bit of a response from Riley here, mate. Did only kick 9 goals on the day. That's all true. Sis BOG this week. Sam,
Well, to be honest, Melbourne went through a stint of low-scoring games throughout this season. I think they've just turned it back up a little bit, but...
Mate, it was something like us, Melbourne, and West Coast this year are the only 3 teams to go through a 6-week period of not kicking 80 points.
There you go.
They just could not score for the longest time.
So it could be a bit of an arm wrestle.
Yeah, it could be an arm wrestle. We got Big Sticks Ryan, which we like. Hawks by 3 in by 7, I should say, in a low-scoring game, mirroring last week. I'm still going with the D's, mate. Now, I've been wrong the last 2 weeks, so hey, if I'm the reverse jinx, I'll take it.
Yep,
but D's by, and I think this might be a bit of a step down to earth. I'm going to go D's 33, and best on ground for mine, I'm going to go with Jimmy Warple. There's
nice.
35, 10 clearances.
In and under.
That's the job. Yep, for sure. All right, Hawks fans, last chance to get in your little predictions here before we head off. But we do want to say a massive thank you for you all jumping on board tonight. Thank you for waiting the extra 24 hours. Sucks that the Matildas couldn't get over the line. Fingers crossed the Boomers are doing beautifully at the moment, mate. Went down to Brazil as well. But in one of the more underrated things I just wanted to put in here for the celebration of women's sport in Australia, the Diamonds not nearly getting enough coverage as they should be, mate, for winning the World Cup. They played 8 games in 10 days and took down the Poms in a final. The Tillies have been amazing, and we deserve to be proud of them, mate. But we don't need to beat England when it's a semi-final. Semi-finals, mate. We beat them in finals. We're not letting them taking home the silverware, and that's exactly what happened over in South Africa. So a massive shout-out to the Diamonds. Cody, I think we can smoke them by 4, which we love. A++ season, Chris, I'm with you. I think we can ruin Gaun's 200th game. Fingers crossed we can. Any last thoughts, mate, before we head off?
No, not really, mate. Talking about the women, their season kicks off pretty soon. It's going to be an exciting season for them, so looking forward to that as well. VFL down at Frankston, mate. We haven't mentioned that one yet. Playing the Dolphins at 7:05 Friday night. So yeah, get down and support the boys. Check out our future.
Cold, she'll be windy, and probably go towards more the Bayside side of the ground, because if you've got your back to the ocean, mate, when the game starts at 7:05, let me tell you, you're gonna have to bring the puffer jackets, the jumpers, the jerseys, the scarves. Probably need a forward and a back-facing hat. It'll be extraordinary. But Kinetic Stadium's holding up really well, mate.
You said you're going down. I'm probably going down with the kidlets. So yeah, come down, have a chat, and support the boys.
Say g'day, and if you can come up with a worse joke than what you think I can come up with, I'm more than happy to take them on board. Sam wins that title tonight, so good on you, Sam. And good on you, Hawks fans. Thank you for joining us. Fingers crossed we can get over the line. We've got opposition analysis coming to you Saturday morning. Check out Smithy's John Newcomb article. It is fantastic. The great man did plenty of good work on it. And also check out Timmy's interview with Jacob Kazitsky. Cozzy, what a year it's been for him. And fingers crossed his form can continue across the last fortnight of the season. We're going to let you go. Fingers crossed win number 8 is around the corner. And as always, Hawks fans, go the Hawks.
Go Hawks.